Buenos dias, amigos, amigas from the Lake Chapala area. Now, a few days ago, I ran across a very interesting article about Chapala, but it is actually about an English novelist, poet, and essayist who was in Chapala in the 1920s. And I want to give you some passages from this article that I read. And at the end of the video, I'll give you the name of the website that I found this on. There might be a couple different ways you'll be able to find this article, but let me start out by saying this. The title of this article is D.H. Lawrence Found Inspiration in 1923 at Lake Chapala. Now, I'm going to go read some passages from this article, very interesting article, and it says here, and we're once again about D.H. Lawrence. English novelist, poet, and essayist David Herbert Lawrence was 37 years of age in 1923 when he spent 3 months in Chapala writing the first draft of the work that eventually became The Plumed Serpent. And that's spelled T-H-E, and then the word plumed, P-L-U-M-E-D, and then serpent, S-E-R-P-E-N-T. And here's some more information. Talks about his early years, the early years of his life. There's another section that says from New Mexico to Mexico City and Chapala. And here's an nice photograph of him and his wife, D.H. Lawrence, and his wife, Frida Lawrence, on a bench in Chapala in 1923. Black and white photo, of course. And then to continue one of the passages, it says, however he arrived, Lawrence liked what he saw and within hours of arriving in Chapala had sent an urgent telegram back to Mexico City pronouncing Chapala as paradise and urging others to join him there immediately. So really interesting. Here's another section. Lawrence sets up home in Chapala. Lawrence and Frida soon established their home for the summer in Chapala at calle Zaragoza, number 4. That's the address. But following that, in parentheses, it says it was later renumbered to 307. So calle Zaragoza, number 307, right here, right in Chapala. So going on to say, here, Lawrence's stay at Lake Chapala proved to be a highly productive one. His major achievement at Chapala was to write the entire first draft of a novel set in Mexico. Initially, it was called something else after the feathered serpent of Mexican mythology. And then it says the draft was completely rewritten the following year in Oaxaca as, once again, The Plumed Serpent. T-H-E, and then P-L-U-M-E-D, and serpent is S-E-R-P-E-N-T in this article here. Here's another section, Writing Beside the Beach. After a couple false starts, Lawrence began his novel on May the 10th and writing at a furious pace, completed 10 chapters by the end of the month. Within 2 months, the draft was essentially complete. Let me go on here. Here, there's a lot of passages. There's another photograph. I read this article in its entirety, and I hope you do too. But here's another photo. And it says here, Lawrence returns to Chapala briefly in October of 1923. But here, going through the article, let me finish this off. And there's a section that says, Chapala remains a place of pilgrimage for Lawrence fans. And it says, since 1923, many Lawrence fans have made their own pilgrimage to Chapala to see firsthand what inspired their great hero. Perhaps the most famous of these admirers is the Canadian poet Al Purdy, spelled A-L, and last name P-U-R-D-Y, who visited Chapala several times in the 1970s and 80s. Let me start out again. Since 1923, many Lawrence fans have made their own pilgrimage to Chapala to see firsthand what inspired their great hero. Perhaps the most famous of these admirers is the Canadian poet Al Purdy, who visited Chapala several times in the 1970s and 1980s. Purdy was a huge fan of Lawrence, even to having a bust of Lawrence on his hall table back in Canada, and wrote a limited edition book. And the title of that book is The D.H. Lawrence House at Chapala, and then in parentheses it says the Paget Press, spelled P-A-G-E-T Press in 1980. So it's a lot of interesting information. I wanted to give it to you. I read the article in its entirety. It's a very, very interesting article. I hope you guys get to that article. I believe, now I've been going through different ways to find it. I believe I typed in at one time into a website, and I was searching on Google. I typed in D.H. Lawrence at Lake Chapala, Mexico, something like that, or Chapala, Mexico. I think there's another way here. You can go D.H. Lawrence, and then the website is lakechapalaartists.com. You could probably, I think you can find it that way too. Just go and search D.H. Lawrence, Lake Chapala, but once again, I think you might be able to find this because I've been finding it through so many different ways. One is lakechapalaartists.com, and I would put D.H. Lawrence in there before lakechapalaartists.com. Try it that way, but very interesting article, very interesting place. Chapala is such a beautiful and inspiring place. So with that, I'm just gonna say tap on that notification bell. You'll be notified of upcoming videos. Thanks for viewing this video. I hope you read that article in its entirety. I did, and it's very interesting, and just want to say, hasta luego.